On January 4, 2007, Federal District Court Judge Lawrence Kahn ordered the SUNY administration to reinstate RJ and Justin. The students returned to an empty campus during January break and recorded an address to post on YouTube and Wikipulse.
As all of you know, we're here today following a preliminary injunction issued by Judge Lawrence Kahn of New York's Northern District Federal Court 1 week ago. The injunction included an order to the SUNY administration on this campus to reinstate us as students forthwith. Mr. Sussman, who's joined us here today, will have more to say on the legal front. On the political front, I imagine there's really one question you want answered, and that's what's going to happen with the presidency. I'm prepared to answer this question here and now, and the answer is that I've asked Jessica Coleman to continue executing the presidency for the remainder of my term. The presidency of the student body is the most important office on this campus. It defines the timbre and character of the year. Each president has shaped a piece of New Paltz history, some with energy and enthusiasm, some with apathy and complacence, some with unrest and upheaval, and most with some combination of those. Senator Coleman was tapped at the beginning of her tenure as Senate Chair, an office which she had only really begun to truly understand, to serve in the presidency on an interim basis. And since that time, she's faced what can only be described as a barrage of unprecedented challenges, and she has faced them without having current or former elected presidents by her side. While she's consulted with me throughout this trying time, she's had to rely on her own instincts in making crucial decisions that will shape this institution, and I think we all owe her a debt of gratitude and continued support for performing as she has. She has already earned her place in the Hall of Historic Student Body Presidents on this campus, and it would be taking too lightly this highest of offices to replace a president who's functioning so well during such a difficult time. And it's for that reason that I believe it's in the best interest of the Student Association and the entire New Paltz community that President Coleman continues to execute the office she's already begun to redefine. While it's true that the evidence seems to clearly indicate gross misconduct by campus officials, some of which rises to the level of criminal activity, I believe that the best course of action for the Student Association and indeed the entire campus is to give the SUNY administration time and room to sort it out and take whatever steps they see fit to remedy the situation. It's my hope that they will want to meet personally with myself and RJ to have a calm and affable discussion on this matter, and I stand ready to do just that. I'd like to see this issue brought back down to the campus level and openly and freely discussed among the campus community with a goal of moving forward in such a way that the state of free speech, expression, assembly, and thought is restored and strengthened. Needless to say, my advocacy will continue surrounding specific campus issues, especially the food service monopoly, the treatment of our women's studies program, our unique and draconian policy of expulsion for first and second time controlled substance possession offenses, the level of respect shown to our classified staff, the way that so-called sexual misconduct cases are handled, and other pending and important campus issues.
My job is to make sure, as Justin adverted to, that all of the evidence comes out in a court of law. This is not one of those cases that's likely to settle with a few $1,000s being paid somebody, because the issues are more intense and more important. I like to look at the law as a process of truth-telling. And this is one of those cases where that process of truth-telling really needs revelation. I think, as Justin again alluded to, that what has occurred in this particular instance is the tip of the iceberg. A desire by those in power to control what goes on, which is not a surprising desire. And I thank you all for being here on this chilly day. And Justin's taken a stand to support others, which I applaud. And I hope that Ms. Coleman has the kind of term needed to help restore integrity to the campus. Thank you.
Finally, I think it's worth saying here and now that this iteration of exploration, our iteration, must also begin to consider and act on issues of national significance. Last night, the elected leader of our nation delivered an address from the White House Library that I imagine many of you found quite underwhelming, as did I. 3,000 people, almost all of whom were of or near college age, have given their lives in a war that even the brashest of study tells us is unjust, unsustainable, and misguided. We are the students of the information age, and it's time for us to begin flexing the muscles of the technological advances that distinguish our generation. We sit now at a crucial crossroads, not only for our own institution, but for the future of education, and I believe the very nature of the relationship between the person and the state. The status quo is such that we have delegated to certain individuals the responsibility for maintaining the system, measuring the needs and wants of society, and governing the people. In education, it means that we have an administration, in our case the state of New York, which claims authority over the affairs of this campus and acts in a way that is often blind to the desires of those affected and even callous to them on occasion. In my estimation, the information age brings with it an inevitability, and that is a radical change in the very ontos of our understanding of authority. While it makes sense for practical reasons that the delegation to government the task of governing would increasingly characterize the ages from the dawn of civilization through the agricultural and industrial revolutions, I believe that this paradigm is destined for replacement in the 21st century. It will peacefully and practically be replaced by individuals who feel an overwhelming sense of civic pride and decide to dedicate a portion of their energy to shaping their communities with a new approach of collaboration and consensus. And I think many such individuals are gathered here today in front of the JFT, and many more are significant voices on this campus.
Following their reentry, the students asked for a meeting with President Postcancer and Vice President Rooney to discuss and resolve the entire controversy, but the administrators refused such a meeting. Despite calls for their resignation, Stephen Postcancer, David Rooney, and Karina Karachi remain employed by the state of New York.
RJ and I represented ourselves before the Second Circuit Federal Court of Appeals. The courts have issued a final decision as of August of 2009 that administrators are immune from student lawsuits in cases like ours, so it's up to students and faculty on every campus to make sure that free speech prevails in their home.
New Paltz has a long history of activism. Many generations of students have taken it upon themselves to stand up for their rights on campus. They have created positive changes to the campus and the community that last to this day. Despite efforts over the years, the spirit of New Paltz has not been snuffed.